whichever. Like they're going to watch the recording. These are some questions we got. Let's go over them. I'll tell you if they're test questions or not. We went over the test, didn't we? 12, didn't we go over that test? Huh? What do you mean, one of them? There's only one test.
Is that you're splitting,
Well, I went ahead and just made it one test. It's just one test. The Unit 3 test. Did we go over it last time? Or Unit?
Yes.
Huh?
I think. Yeah. We did.
I can't say.
I think we did. Yeah. Because if you look at the videos, let's look. I'll make sure that I'm not crazy. Library.
Nobody's crazy. Their reality is just different from everybody else's.
Yeah, that's what it is. Math 155. And yes, probability of statistics pretest. I don't know why they leave the test there. Okay, so we're ready to go over any of these questions, and when I go over these questions, pretty much that's it.
I have a question, and I know you're not going to like it, and you're like, well, it's online, blah, blah, blah.
11.2, number 8. If you already know it's online, then don't ask it.
But I'm going to ask anyways. You said this is pretty much it, but don't we have to come back for the exam?
Anyway, a circle graph shows the percent of people in a certain country with the various types of blood. She can answer that question. If one person from this country is selected at random, use the graph to determine the odds against a person with A+ blood. All right. How many people have A+ blood? Well, we look. A+. Where is A+? 34 over what?
100.
Thank you. Probability of A+ is equal to 34 over 100. So what is the probability of no A+? I'm waiting.
76.
76. No, 66.
66. Oops.
All right, folks. Find the odds. What? Against. And yes, this is a test question. I would put this on a test. So what's failure? No. 66 over 100. What's success?
34 over 100.
And simplify the fraction. You get 66 to what? 34. And that's 33 to 17. That should be your answer.
It made this so confusing because it tells you, like, if you need help with it, it tells you to do, like, 1 minus, and then it gives you...
Well, remember, you always are going to use, what's the complement, what is the complement of success? Failure or not success. So always put an X through what you're asking, and then just subtract it from the total. 34 minus 60, 100 minus 34 is 66. So that's a good test question. It's also a good standardized test question too. 33 to 17. And check. So that's a good question. So if you sent that one, that's a good question. Next. That was number 8. This is number 11. Number 11. Hold on a second. I'm trying to get rid of all this mess. Suppose that the probability that all the parts needed to assemble a bookcase are included in the carton is 6 out of 7. Determine the odds in favor of the carton including all of the parts. So all of the parts, what would that be? That would be success. That would be 7 out of what? 7. So write that down. The probability of all parts is 7 out of 7. Probability of all the parts is 7 out of 7. What are they saying? The probability that, wait a minute. I'm confused.
Me too.
Suppose that the probability, all the parts, would be 7 out of 7. Okay, I'm a little bit confused. Determine the odds in favor of the carton, including all. I'm going to go with what I think they're talking about, okay? So, well, okay. All right, they're saying that the probability, okay, this is not a good question. All right, they're saying that the probability of all parts is what? 6 out of 7. Therefore, the probability of not all the parts is what?
1 out of 7.
Okay, so what do they want? They want the odds in what? They want the odds in what?
In favor.
So that's the opposite of the odds against. So what goes on top with the odds in favor? Well, what goes on the top with the odds against? Probability of failure. So what goes on the top with odds in favor? Probability of success, Hubert. So what's the probability of success? 6 out of what?
7.
And what's the probability of failure? 1 out of 7. Multiply by 7 over 1. 6 to 1 should be your answer. That is not, I don't like that question. Because it already starts you off.
Oh, that's not right.
What?
That's what
Well, that seems to be, I have no idea. That was the answer. You just didn't hit check answer. I don't like this problem. 9 out of 10, so that's going to be 1 out of 10, so that's going to be 9 to 1. 9 to 1. See? This is not a good question. Why is it not a good question? Because you would assume if all the parts are in the box that it would be 10 out of 10. So I don't like this question because it leads you off in the wrong direction. So I don't like this question. But that's how you do it. Probability of success, which would be 6 over 7, 9 over 10, divided by 1 over 10. So you got 2 problems there. 1, 6 over 7, 1 over 7, 9 over 10, 1 over 10. And then make sure you put the probability of success over the probability of failure. I don't like that one. Number 5. The mean score on a test of 26 tests is 82. What is the sum of all the test scores? All right, well, let's go over the mean. The mean is equal to the summation of x over what? N. Does everybody agree with that? What do you do with all your test scores? What do you do with them? You add them up, and you subtract, and you divide by what? How many? Which is N. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes.
All right, what is our mean?
82.
So it goes here. And what's N?
26? Yes.
26. So how do you solve for x? How do you get rid of a fraction? You multiply by its what?
Reciprocal?
Denominator. In this case, it's denominator.
Okay.
But you're correct. If it was a fraction like 1/5, I don't know what's going on with this thing. 26, 26. The summation of x, somebody multiply 26 times 82. $2,136? 32?
32.
He's kind of getting mumbly at the end there. 2,132. That's what he said. Not 2,132. So let's put that in, and then we see if we feel good about ourselves. $2,132. And we feel good about ourselves. That's an okay question. You'll probably see that on a standardized test. I don't know if I'd put that on a test, but that's a good standardized test question. Capiche?
Mm-hmm.
Next. That was number 5. Number 8. The Taylors have recorded their weekly grocery expenses for the past 16 weeks and determined, okay, this is the same type question. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. Ms. Taylor discovered that 1 week's expense of $88 was incorrectly recorded as $32. What is the correct mean? Well, first of all, we need to find out what the sum was to begin with. All right, so let's go and find the sum. So we're going to use that same mean is equal to the sum of x over what? N. Does somebody tell me what the mean was? That means I want y'all to look at the question and tell me what the mean was.
83.80.
Thank you. 83.80. And how many, what's the N? 16, Hubert. Thank you, class. All right, now multiply 16. Let me take my handy dandy blue marker. Multiply both sides by 16. And somebody do that for me. And don't get mumbly at the end now.
Well,
1,340.8. Easily? Is that what you got?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
hold on.
83.8 times 16.
Yes, that's what I got.
Okay, so that is based on this right here. Does everybody understand that? So our summation of x is equal to 1340 point what? 8. What does this say? Later, Miss Taylor discovered that 1 week, or first week, or whatever, I don't care, expense of $88 was incorrectly recorded as $32. So what does that mean? That means she wrote down $32, but it was originally what?
88.
So what do we need to do to the summation of the old X summation? Do we need to add, what, $56? Or do we subtract $56? Somebody check. What's 88 minus 32? Is it 56?
Yes.
Okay, do we add 56 to the total, or do we subtract 56 from the total? This is, we add it, exactly. Critical thinking dictates that if this is what was actually spent, then we need to add $56 to this, and that gives us what? So this is part 1, this is part 2. So now we got to add $56. That's the difference between the mistake, and that gives us $13.96.80. Somebody check me. And now that's our new what? That's our new sum. So now part 3, we take our new sum and divide by what? 16, Hubert. Yeah, that's right, 16 weeks. And somebody do that for me. What do you get? What's 1396.8 divided by 16?
87.3.
So now our weekly average is $87.30. That's a good question. Why? Because it asks you to use critical what?
Thinking.
Critical thinking. What's the critical thinking? Well, if I paid $88 for groceries and I wrote down $32, then I've got a mistake of $56 and it's more, so I need to add $56 to my original calculation. That's the critical thinking. 87.3. And we feel good about ourselves. So that's a good question all the way around. Any math teacher would love that question. I don't like that question about the parts. I don't like that one. This one has everything in it. I like this one. Next. We just did that one, right? Number 8. That was number 8, right? We just did that one. That's number 8. Number 11, I think we did that one, didn't we? Nope. The prices of the top rated 28-inch direct whatever are right here. I'm going to put these in the spreadsheet. Okay, so y'all can write them down. I'm going to put them in the spreadsheet. Because I'm going to show you an easy way to do this. I'm going to make it small so y'all can still write it down. There you go. And then when I get it in the spreadsheet, are they in order? 320, 330, 350, 350, yeah. They're in order. So y'all write them down and I'll be typing them in. And n is equal to 21. So I'm going to say n is equal to 21. I'm going to do everything here. I'm going to do everything I can because I like to raise the bar. What's the opposite of raising the bar? Status what?
Well,
good. Status quo is just doing the minimal. 320, 330, 350, what?
That's what they mean in high school.
Yeah. Status quo means you just do what you do to get by. And that's why we have people that are working now that it's right on the borderline of lazy because they don't do anything to raise the what? Raise the bar. 360. Is that, no, that's not 360. 350, 350, 390. No, there's 350s. Oh, let me start over. 320, 330, 350, 350, 350, 390, 420, 470, 500, 550, 560, 570, 590. oops, 590, 620, 640, 680, 730, 750, 760, 790, and 820. I hope I got them right. I don't know how many there are, but anyway. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, variance, and standard deviation. Now I'm also going to order something else. I'm going to go over here and I don't know if it's asking for it, but the mean, the median, max, which y'all can figure those out. The mean is the lowest number, the max is the highest number. But this is called the first quartile, and that's called the third quartile. Then the median is called the second quartile. The first quartile is also called the 25th percentile. The second quartile is called the 50th percentile. And what's the third quartile called? The 75th percentile. So you need to write that down in your notebook. And I'll show you how to find those. I don't know if this question is asking for those things, but it looked like to me it might be. So I'm going to move this down just a little bit. There we go. Oops. So write that down. Now, somebody tell me the mode, because I saw 350 3 times. But y'all need to look at it and tell me what the mode is, because I'm not going to look for the mode. Now, 21. Is 21 odd or even? Odd. So we just got to find 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that is our what? What is 11? The 11th spot. What is that? That's our median. Okay? And the reason it's our median is because there's 21, so that's our median. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one as our median. A mode, did y'all look, see how many were?
I think it's 350.
Okay, I saw 3 of them. That's why. So I'm going to put 350 here. I'm going to highlight that red because you do not calculate. I'm just going to put red letters. You do not calculate the mode. You what? You look at it. You observe it. The mean, I'll go ahead and put auto sum of all these numbers divided by what?
21.
21. Range is equal to the highest minus the what?
Lowest.
Minus the lowest. And the mid-range is equal to parentheses, the highest plus the lowest, or the lowest plus the highest, it doesn't matter, divided by 2. Variance, well, I got to do x minus x bar, so x minus x bar, because I'm reading my formula, this number minus this number, and I'm going to hit F4, copy that down. And then I'm going to do x minus x bar what? X bar, quantity squared. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because it might be bigger numbers. So equal to this raised to the second power. And copy that down. And what do we do with all those numbers? Add them up. Good job. Enter. And that's your numerator for your variance. So equals this number divided by, somebody tell me what 21 minus 1 is.
20.
And what is the relationship between the standard deviation and variance? Square root or raise it to the 0.5 power, 1/2 power. There's your standard deviation. Now, again, I have no idea what the question's asking. I'm doing this because this will give you another review question to put in your notes, one to go over. I will not give you a mean and standard deviation with 21 numbers. But since this is test homework question week, I'll be glad to do that. Now, what's the mean?
320.
Good job. What's the max?
790.
Median? Look, I'm not doing anything. I'm just rewriting. Okay, now how do I find the 25th percentile? Well, how many numbers are above 560? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. N is equal to 10. How do we find the median if N is equal to 10? What's the rule? If N is odd, you just pick out what do you do if N is even? You got to average two middle terms. So I'm going to highlight these blue. And I'm going to go over here and highlight this blue. But I'm going to take the what? The average of those two numbers. This number plus this number divided by what? 2. And that's your first quartile or your 25th percentile. Now what do I do? Sorry, I got to turn it right yellow. Sorry. Now somebody tell me what I'm going to do on the bottom here. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to take these two numbers and I'm going to highlight them verde. Now I'm going to call this verde. And we're going to take the average of those two numbers. Parentheses, this number, plus this number, divided by what? And now you just found the first, the second, and the third quartile, or the 25th, the 50th, and the 75th percentile. Now I don't know what they're asking for on this question, but we'll minimize this and move it over so y'all can see it right there. Move this over. Q2, Q1, and Q3. Now they got it out of order. I don't know why they have it out of order. But what is my second quartile?
Just 560.
560. What is my first quartile? 370. And what is my third quartile?
705.
And you feel good about yourself. That is a standardized test question. How do you find quartiles? It's called interpolation. Interpolation is when you find the middle of the middle of the middle of the middle. So if I wanted to find a smaller quartile, look here. If I wanted to find the smaller quartile, how many numbers are above this cross right here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 350 would be my next quartile. Everybody see? And what's above this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 470 would be your next one. Everybody with me? 620 would be my next one. and 760 would be my next one. I'm finding the middle of the middle of the middle. Does everybody understand that? You're never going to be asked to find more than the first, second, third quartile, but that's called interpolation. 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 Interpolation is when you find the middle of the middle of the middle of the middle. And that's how you find the first, second, third quartile. Capiche?
Capiche.
Next. What number was that? That was number 11. So that's number 11 again. Number 12. Number 12. Give the names of 2 other statistics that have the same value as the 50th percentile. 50th percentile, what are they called? The second what? Second quartile or the what? Median. So which one is it? A? And you feel good about yourself. Is that it? Why does it say try again?
Right.
Oh, I thought it said you, okay. Give the name, it's 50th percentile, second quartile, and the median. Okay, well, it's supposed to say next question, or, okay, forget it. All right, whatever, that's a good question. All right, that's number 12. Number 13. To calculate a weighted average, use the formula, the summation of whatever you got over the number, where W is the weight of the place of data, XW is the sum of the products, sum of the test. Okay, suppose that your final grade for a course is determined by the midterm exam and a final exam. The midterm is worth 40% of your grade, and the final exam is worth 60% of your grade. If your midterm grade is 81 and your final exam is 71, calculate your weighted average. So it looks like to me I would take 81 multiplied by 0.40 and take 71 and multiply it by 0.60, and that would be, and add those two together. But they're wanting you to plug it into this, which means that you're going to multiply 81 times 71 and divide by, or you're going to add, and then divide by, I have no idea what they're doing here. It looks like to me you're just going to plug and chug. Okay, that's what I just said. Okay, I was right. 74, okay. That's what I thought we were going to do. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I want to make sure I was right. So take 40.4 and multiply by 0.81. They went around the world to tell you how to do something real short and sweet. Hold on. Anytime you have weighted, take 0.4. Okay, I don't know what's going on. There we go. 0.4 and multiply that by the 81. And add that to the 0.6 multiplied by 71. And that's your grade. Multiply that by 100 because it's a decimal. So somebody tell me what 0.4, excuse me, that'd be 32.4. And 7.1 times 6 is 42.6. Somebody check my math. And that's going to be 75. So that's your average. That's the easiest way to do it. I don't know what they're talking about. So I have a feeling it's supposed to be 75. I think they're going. You ever had somebody tell you directions and they tell you 15 pages of directions and all they got to tell you is turn right and left? Okay, this one is not difficult. You take the percentage, multiply by that, percentage, multiply that, and add them together. I don't know what they're talking about, unless I'm reading something wrong. 75. The question is legitimate. The way it's written is not. They need to just take away this right here. They need to take all that away and just do this. I think y'all would agree with me. That's not good. All right, next. Let's see, that's number 13, so I don't want to repeat it. Number 2, 12.4. Determine the range and the standard deviation. So I'm going to put this in a calculator. I mean, not a calculator, but a spreadsheet. Make it small for you. Y'all copy them down. What is n? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So n is equal to 8. And x sub 1 is, I'm just going to put them in order afterwards. I'm not going to try to put them in order. 160, 95, 177, 179, 95, 128, 230, and 320. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm going to put them in order. Data, sort. And 8, so that means I'm going to add these two together. I'm going to go ahead and call them yellow, because that is the average. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to put mean, median, mode, range, mid-range. Y'all go ahead and be working. Mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, variance, and standard deviation. Give y'all a second or two to do everything. Miss Woodward must be sick or something, or she's working, one of the two. Nope, she's still not online, so that means she's not able to come to class today. Former Baltimore mayor indicted on corruption. When are people in these inner cities going to learn? All they're doing, all that money being pumped into these inner cities, and these politicians are just sucking it up like a vacuum cleaner. But maybe someday people will wake up and open their eyes.
People will never learn I mean, it's just, they'll never learn.
Well, well, that's why you have live PD.
See, what gets me is they complain about how things are, and I'm just like, you elected them.
Yeah, exactly. For instance, Nancy Pelosi, her dadgum city is tense, and she lives in a nice gated community with a wall around her house.
Of course,
and her guards have guns,
Yep.
and her city is covered up with homeless people. I ain't kidding you. And they vote her back in every single time.
Because she says what they want to hear.
Exactly. That's just wrong. I hate to say it, but if your area looks like crap, I don't care who the leader is. They're not doing their job.
Yep. It's true.
I don't care who they are. I don't care what they are. I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. If their area looks like crap, if your state looks like crap, then the governor and the legislature are not doing their jobs. I don't care. There's too many taxes being paid for places to look like a third world country. Go to Detroit. Go to Michigan. Looks like a third world country hit it. I mean, it looks like a bomb hit it. All right, here we go. Mean.
Before you start, can you just spend a little extra time on the variance and standard deviation? Because I'm kind of.
I don't want you to learn it. Yeah, I'll be glad to.
Thank you.
All right, so let's do the mean. So auto sum all those and divide by what?
8.
Divide by 8. Now, let me ask you a quick question about the variance and the standard deviation. Give me the formula. What is the formula for the standard deviation, the variance?
Some x minus x bar.
Okay, good.
To the squared.
Squared, and then what do you do?
Oh, I don't remember after that.
Okay, remember what I told y'all the first day. You've got to memorize the what?
The formulas, yeah.
The formula, because the formula, if you read it, and you almost have it. You almost have it. You just don't know all of it. So we're going to write the formula down, and then we're going to do it, okay?
Okay.
So the median is going to be equal to this number plus this number divided by 2. Okay, I typed something in wrong. It didn't like. I don't have a parenthesis. There we go. Okay. All right, mode, I don't care. Which one is it? 95? 95 is right there. Okay, range is equal to the highest minus the lowest. Mid-range is equal to parentheses the highest plus the lowest, or the lowest plus the highest. Doesn't matter. Divided by 2. Okay. Now the variance, and that's where the formula comes in, and I'll write it down so you can look at it. Variance is equal to the summation of x minus x bar, quantity squared, over n minus 1. So that means we got to have the next column is x minus what? X bar. So I'm going to do x minus x bar. So here we go. Equals 95 minus 173, and I'm going to hit F4. Now, if you do this on paper, you don't have to do F4. That's just locking the mean. But if you use Excel spreadsheet, you need to hit F4, Fox 4, to lock that number in right there. Because that number, if you copy this down, it's going to grab this number next, and this number next, and this number next, and then you're going to get an error. Okay, you have to lock that number. And locking F4, that's what that does. Okay, if you're not an Excel person, don't worry about it. There's your numbers. Now what do we do with, let's take my highlighter. What do we do with x minus x bar? Square it. So my next column is going to be x minus x bar, quantity what? Squared. And you said that. You said x minus x bar quantity squared. The problem is you didn't remember the next, you add them all up. That's what that is.
Yeah.
And that's where you were a little bit flaky. And the reason is, I'm not asking you to memorize it, but make sure you have it highlighted in your notebook when you take the test, so you will see it, so you'll know what to do. So that's equal this number raised to the second power. And copy that down. And these are going to be BA numbers if you're starting with big numbers, especially like, I don't know what these are. But, huh? Yeah. And the BA funky E, which is capital sigma, lowercase sigma looks like an O with a pompadour on it. Okay? That's uppercase sigma, means add all these up. So add all of them up, and that's going to be a BA number. And that is your numerator for your variance.
Okay.
And that's equal to this number divided by, and what is 8 minus 1? 7. So check your calculator and make sure you can do 39, 2, 7, 2, whatever. Divide that by 7, and you should get 5610. And what is the relationship between the standard deviation and the variance? It's the square root of the variance, or variance raised to the what? 1/2 power, or the variance raised to the what? 0.5 power. All those are the same thing. So now I'm going to take that 5610 and I'm going to raise it to the 0.5 power. Or, with your calculator, type in 5610.286 and hit square root, or square root 5610.286, close parentheses, and you should get the same answer I get. I raise mine because I teach calculus and I use this Excel spreadsheet. You don't use radicals in calculus and you don't use them in here either. You raise everything to the 1/2 power. If it was the third root, you'd raise it to the 1/3 power, that kind of thing. So equals this number raised to the 0.5 power. And that's your answer. Now, what did they ask for? I think they asked for the range, 225, and then 74.90. 225 and 74.90. That's the wrong one. Try it again. 225 and what? 70 what?
74.90.
And that's it. So make sure that, I think we've done several of these. I think I did 2 today. And you've got a couple in your notebook, so that's 4. I think you, and like I said, you almost had it. You said x minus x bar, raise it to the second power, and then you got fuzzy on the sigma. You need to add all those up. Okay? And that's what memory is, a 10-minute class over with?
Yes.
All right, that's number 2. So I've deleted, so we've got these to go over. We can go over those Friday. Keep sending them in, and I'll see y'all, what's today? See y'all Friday, okay?
All right.
All right.